A dog barks when his master is attacked. I would be a coward if I saw that God's truth is attacked and yet would remain silent. John Calvin.
Telling a woman that she can't be an elder is a nonsense rule.
If they claim to be in the body, we let them have it.
Donald Trump is going to win in 2020 by an absolute landslide.
Heretics Christianizing the American dream.
I said that you, that many LDS folks and I love the same Jesus. I still believe that.
Sowing is a blessing from God to make you rich.
Treating Jesus like a lottery ticket.
The Lord spoke to my heart. Been very few times I've ever heard God be this articulate with me. And I'm telling you word for word, these words came into my heart. I'm not asking you with me. I'm asking you to brush your hair.
We'll do them sharply. That's what God commanded.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Master's Dog False Teacher of the Week, episode 86. I'm your host, Norm, the Master's Dog Dunham, aka the Evangelical Norm. So, the False Teacher of the Week segment of the Master's Dog podcast was born out of the old introduction video. It was about a 2.5-minute montage of pictures and videos of false teachers set to a really cool song called No Compromise by Result, used by permission. Thank you, Result. And it was, somebody came to me and said, I'll figure out what I'm trying to say. Someone came to me and said, one of the ladies that I went to church with said, I don't know who all these people are. Some of them that I did know, I thought were okay. So could you break it down? Could you tell us why these people are false teachers and who they are? So that was the birth of this segment of the podcast was from that. I started with Stephen Furtick, who was the specific person she had a question about. And then I proceeded to go systematically through that introduction video, person by person, picture by picture, video by video, to explain each of those false teachers and what made them a false teacher. And again, they're not just, Christians or pseudo-Christians or anything. I mean, false teachers cover a great, multitude of different professions and bully pulpits, essentially. Donald Trump, Oprah Winfrey, atheists like Dan Barker and Hemet Mehta, and so on. So a lot of these people, are not just, bad Christians or anything like that. So after I finished that, I revamped the introduction video, took the song from Result out. Sorry, Result. Even though you gave me permission, still got a copyright claim every single time I used it. So created a beat on my own phone. I hope you like it. And just made a shorter video. So it's not 2.5 minutes. Now it's just a little over a minute of introduction. And made it more versatile so I can take and add video clips and take them out as I want to and need to. So, and here we are. That is the background on this podcast for those of you who are new. Thank you for everybody who likes, comments, shares the videos, because, again, you make Mr. Algorithm, and I've been calling him that long before the movie was around, to send the video out to more and more people who might like to see it, and that is what is causing our subscriber numbers to go up. Now, granted, they're not going up. They're not skyrocketing, but that's okay. Every new subscriber I appreciate, and I think I appreciate them more when we're at 350 than some people do when they're at 350,000. So thank you guys for all you do, for watching, taking the time out, especially for commenting, and those who send suggestions for false teachers. I would love to get more and more of those from you guys, and I bump them to the top of the list. If you have a suggestion, I will put them up there and we'll get it to them next week, something like that. Not always going to agree with you that they are a false teacher, and we'll discuss that if that is the case. So that brings us to this week. A lot of introduction there. I get criticized for my banter at the beginning of the podcast all the time. We are getting to our false teacher of the week, number 86, and I hate trying to say this dude's name, Jentezen Franklin. Southern names. I mean, dude's from Georgia, right? Where that name, if you know what that name means or where it came from, let me know, because I've always found that to be an odd name. Maybe that's why I put him off this long, because I just don't want to have to say Jentezen over and over and over again during a podcast. So What I always like to do with our false teachers of the weeks is I like to go to their web pages and see what they say about themselves first, and then we'll look at them and what makes them a false teacher. So this is his bio on jentezenfranklin.org. It says Jentezen Franklin is the senior pastor of Free Chapel, a multi-campus church with a global reach. His messages influence generations through modern-day technology and digital media. His televised broadcast, Kingdom Connection, and outreaches that put God's love and compassion into action. Jentezen is also a New York Times bestselling author who speaks at conferences worldwide. He and his wife, Charisse, live in Gainesville, Georgia, and have 5 children and 4 grandchildren. So, just a very basic bio that is up there. Nothing, outrageous about him. Again, he's an American pastor, televangelist, a lot of time on TBN. So again, red flag number 1. And there are some okay people that have been on TBN. I mean, TBN has broadcast the Way of the Master in the past. Kirk Cameron has a show on there. I still think he's somewhat orthodox. I don't know. I haven't watched his show. Again, the TBN virus that causes people to become unorthodox could have gotten him by now. I believe, and I'm not 100% positive, but I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that in this multi-site church, Free Chapel, they have places out of state. So I do believe the Mr. Franklin here is getting in a private jet and flying in the morning on Sunday to a whole nother state to preach again in the afternoon in his, private jet that probably cost, $30 to $40 million, if not 60 million like Creflo Dollar. So Wikipedia says on his way to a musical career as a saxophone player, he became an evangelist. No story behind that. I would be interested to see Jentezen give his testimony of how he became an evangelist from being a saxophone player. It sounds a lot like John Wimber with the Vineyard. I should probably do him sometime soon. After Roy Wellborn, senior pastor of Free Chapel, died in '89, Franklin was installed as a pastor of Free Chapel. At the time, it was a small congregation of 300 people. In 2004, the church moved to a new location and has a 3,000-seat auditorium. So he's been married to his wife, Charisse, since 1987. And he was also on Donald Trump's spiritual advisors. He was one of his spiritual advisors. Now, Paula White was his main spiritual advisor. Go figure. I'm amazed that she didn't become the next ex Mrs. Trump. But he was on that group of spiritual advisors for Donald Trump during his tenure in the White House, and has written tons of books. And it just seems like, so again, as we get into the false teachings of what this guy is, I mean, he's your basic run-of-the-mill prosperity preacher. Word faith, name it, claim it. You sow $1,000 seed, God's going to give you $10,000, and then you should probably sow that as a seed so you can get $100,000. And it's the Ponzi scheme kind of situation, on and on. But let me just list the names of his works. Fasting, Volume 1, Private Discipline that Brings Public Reward. Fasting, Volume 2, Opening a Door to God's Promises. Take Hold of Your Dreams, and The Amazing Discernment of Women. Right People, Right Place, Right Plan. Right People, Right Place, Right Plan Devotional. Fasting, Opening the Door to a Deeper, More Intimate, More Powerful Relationship with God. Fasting Journal, Your Personal 21-Day Guide to a Successful Fast. Believe That You Can, Fasting Study Guide, 5-week interactive study resource. Fear Fighters, Right People, Right Place, Right Plan, reprinted in 2011. Fasting Edge, Recover Your Passion, Recapture Your Dream, Restore Your Joy. Fasting Student Edition, The Spirit of Python, Exposing Satan's Plan to Squeeze the Life Out of You. I just can't help but laugh. That's a comical title. Love Like You've Never Been Hurt, and Acres of Diamonds, Discovering God's Best Right Where You Are. So again, I mean, just a guy all about fasting. He was one of the big proponents of the Daniel fast, which is, again, we have to understand the Bible as being prescriptive, things that the Bible is telling us we should do, and descriptive, just descriptions of things that happened that is not necessarily God saying you should do this. And the Daniel fast, the Daniel diet is one of those things. If you look at what the situation was with the young boys from Israel, the Hebrew boys that were taken captive into Persia or Babylon or wherever it was at the time, and Daniel and these boys were there, and they came and they said, eat this food, and they were like, this is unclean, we can't eat this. And so it wasn't that they just took an alternative, they actually just ate fruits and nuts and so on, which would consider to be unhealthy, but because they were honoring God, God made them stronger through that. To stop yourself and do the Daniel fast, again, this is not, it's not honoring God in the same way that these boys did. Daniel fast is a fad. It's a fad that is created by this guy and other prosperity people to get your money to buy their books and so on. And it's not the same thing. And the Daniel fast will not be a healthy diet for you. I mean, you could probably drop some weight really quick if that's what you're looking for. But, I mean, there are other healthier ways of doing that. So these are the things. But then again, of course, just your typical name it, claim it. He's all over TBN. Word faith guy, healings, all that stuff that goes on on a regular basis in those circles. That is what you get from Jentezen Franklin. So that is it, guys. That is our false teacher of the week for this week. Short and sweet. And I understand it's Wednesday and not Saturday. It has just been a really weird week. I've been sick. I've been this and that. So today, this is the morning to play catch up on everything, and you're going to see a whole lot of podcasts coming out throughout the day that I intended to get out Saturday and Monday, but here they are. It's Wednesday. They're coming out rapid fire like a fire hose, and hopefully some good stuff for you. So again, if you haven't already, go ahead and like the video, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification button, get all the content that is released here. Do all that stuff, and as always, preach the gospel at all times. Use words, they're necessary. Until next time, Soli Deo Gloria.